This week, we probably have the highest number of custom medieval Lego creation of the year, on top of a new round of the Iron Forge and all the usual Lego creations, article, blog posts, and video. Remember that everything and everyone that is mentioned in this video will be linked in the description down below for you to go and check it out. Now let's dive in. Welcome to This Week in Bricks. Let's start as usual from Instagram. The first builder that we're going to feature is Fukutaku 10. Amazing artist. Have a look at the profile. He has these very cool pixel art creations. Very cool. Just to give you an example, this is a very cool dragon. Dragon are already cool on their own. With this pixel kind of style is even better. And this week he posted this Pixel Ship Reverie, which is a RAM piece. I'm not too familiar with the source material over here, but you can see that this is a very cool creation. And even though there's a lot of studs and square Lego pieces, this creation look very round, very well rounded shape. We'll talk a little bit more about him later in the video section. Next up, we have Lego 7 Creation. We feature him multiple times on the channel. He has here a modification of the Lego set 31214, the Love sculpture, where he added a lot of New York-inspired little builds. And if you look at it, you can spot a lot of interesting little creations all around this build, a lot of things to discover. Next up, if you remember a few weeks ago, we were talking about the Rogue Brick Slug, which always have an amazing collaboration at Brick in Bavaria. And we were featuring this Rogue Brick build, Rogue Ronin 2024. Amazing build. They finally posted the bigger pictures. I highly recommend you to go and have a look, because this is one of the best things that you can see this year, one of the best ever collaboration that you can see. Next up, we have Mock Atelier, a car builder, car designer with very nice, sleek design. And look at this one. This is a Ferrari 330 P4. Look, this doesn't even look like Lego. The shape is so good, and look at the part usage. Have you noticed on the lights at the front, those are shoe pieces in red. I don't know if it's Duplo or Scala or some old Lego team, but the parts usage is amazing, and the car looks so good. Also, if you look at the back side, the angles are really nice. And you can spot also those two binoculars coming out on an angle on the side at the bottom. Very cool build. Next up, we have the Roldan Grace, which is the builder behind the Walking City. So some of the best build of the past couple of years. The Walking City, and before that, the Black Falcon Knight Horseback. Very cool builds. He did a bird. I'm not too familiar with this. That is called Northern Cardinal. But I really like the parts usage with that sort of otter balloon piece in red that go from the bottom of the neck of the bird all the way down to the tail. Very cool. Next up, we have Zero Builds. Here we are talking about Star Wars, and he has a very cool water technique here. So here we have this sort of flood that is coming into this Empire base, and is very cool. You can look a little bit more closer to the details, but it's really well done. This technique, I'm assuming, is a netting technique or of some sort. Very cool. Next up, we have Aido Kai, also a great builder. You should go and check out his profile. I'm pretty sure you remember that build with all the chain pieces come together that is exhibited at Lego House. Stunning build. He had this build that at first looked like General Grievous, but he actually turned the head of General Grievous into a spaceship. This is another very cool creation. I would never thought about this, and it looks really good and really swooshable. Then we have Rocket Oh Boy, another great builder. Check out his profile. He has a smaller build over here. We are again in Star Wars. This is a sort of Jedi training. It's a small build, but I love the composition. It's very good, very balanced. The colors are very nice, especially that sort of orange long cape piece that goes on the top, waving at the top. Very cool. Panoda, we feature him multiple times on the channel. Again, he made an amazing use of these Duplo slide pieces with this creature that I wouldn't know how to describe. At the back there, it looks like a bit like the Dune Beast. There's some very interesting part usage also at the legs at the bottom, and he has a very well crafted shrine that goes on top. I'm not sure what creature it is, but it is very, very cool. Now, we move into the article section, tips and bricks, a few interesting articles. This one is a guide about the fundamentals of building digital with Studio. I nowadays build always with bricks, but when I started building, I didn't have bricks, I started digitally. So I recommend you go and check it out if you want to approach mock building for the first time. If you don't have much bricks, start digital. But I always recommend as soon as you have enough bricks, then you have to switch to physical brick because it's much, much better. Mock of the week, we have the Council of Elrond by Noldor Lego that we feature multiple times on the channel as well. Very, very cool build, similar to Rivendell in the style. You can go and check out all the details, the part usage, and the building techniques as usual. And of course, go and check out Noldor Lego profile. Then we move on to New Elementary. They have a review of the Cute Fortune from the Lego Spring Festival set, the Lunar New Year set. Not one of my favorite. I like more the modular style, but you can see here we have a lot of interesting pieces, a lot of gold as usual. We have these tail cat pieces in reddish brown. We have these oranges with those dark green leaves on top that are very, very cool. And we also have some nice printed parts and some interesting foliage and sort of tree pieces. So this could be a good part spec. Then we also have a designer interview with the designer of the Trevi Fountain, Lego Architecture, just announced this week. I always love to see all the behind the scene, and I love to see what the designers have to say about these builds, and the building process is always very, very interesting. Then we move on to Brick Nerd, a lot of interesting stuff. Here, an article by Aidan Rexroad. We have a Lego Creator 3-in-1 set turning into combo. Well, so basically what he's doing here is taking two different Creator 3-in-1 set and mixing them into one. For example, my favorites are this one. We have the Playful Cat and the Panda Family that turn into this. Very, very cool. And also we have the Cute Bunny and the Medieval Dragon, which is probably the best 3-in-1 set recently, that turn into this sort of dinosaur creature. Very, very cool. The next article is about winning awards at Lego conventions. I never win one, also because I never attended the conventions, and the convention that I attend here, they don't have any awards. But I hope one day I can go and participate. So this is an interesting ring with a little bit of interesting grip with some interesting tips. By the way, this is by Casey McCoy, guest contributor for this week on Brick Nerd. We also have an article by Dave, Mastering Rebrickable, which is a guide on how to share mocks and instruction on Rebrickable. I personally don't do instruction because I found making instruction very boring, so it's not an activity that I enjoy. But of course, you can find a lot of amazing designs that you can go and check out, especially for the bigger builds. So if you want to build small, don't go and ask for instruction for a small build to the creators. Just try it yourself. Do a modification of a set. That's always good. Of course, if you're looking for bigger sets, for example, you want a better version of the Altbuster, of course, you go Rebrickable and get the Ransom Fern version, which is much better. Now, of course, the best place for mock building is always the Brothers Brick. A lot of good builds this week. My best feature this week on Brothers Brick is this beautiful bird by Mike Sinclair. It's very, very cool. I love the use of those leaf pieces at the bottom side of the bird. We also have a very nice foliage at the bottom, so it's a very nice base. Also, over there, hidden in the foliage, we have a dragonfly. Very, very cool. Next up, we have A Parrot Life for SM33. This is by Tim Goddard. I just finished watching the Skeleton Crew that I recommend you to watch. Sometimes it doesn't feel much like Star Wars, but it's quite fun to watch, interesting, and I really, really like the last episode. So let's see what's going to happen after the series how they're gonna expand this thing. Anyway, this SM33 very cool, and it's on a quite small scale, so this is a very well executed, a very good part usage. Now let's move into the contest section this week. Very big. A reminder that we have the alternative build contest 2025 on Eurobricks. The Colossal Classic Castle is finished. We still have a couple of builds to feature. Of course, Lewis of Knightwood, he has this huge fortress that of course go for the Colossal Castle category. Very cool. This is a massive build. Big number of parts, but very cool. And he also has a smaller build that is submitted for, let me see which category, for the battle scene. This is a very cool with the iconic style of Lewis of Knightwood. Now, let's talk about Brixcalibur. Here we have a lot to feature. There are, at the moment of recording this, there are over 250 submissions, and probably there's going to be some more that I missed while recording this video. I just selected a few of my favorite, but there are so many that I cannot put everyone. So the first one is this Autumnal Scroll by Wolver Bricks. Very cool. I like in particular the build of that deer in the middle, in the center of the shot. Next up, we have a collaborative build here. This was the perspective meter category, so this is on Joe's profile, but in collaboration with Eli Carter, Joel, Micah, Aden, Davis, and Jimmy. A lot of top class Lego builder in this, and this stunning is an amazing build. I hope not to find on Brixcalibur always so many collaboration that go for individual category, otherwise there's no competition for anybody. Next up, we have Nananzan. Beautiful castle build. It doesn't build as much castle recently, but this is really well executed. And I think all those towers are made with some sort of big wheel gear pieces. Very interesting parts usage over there. Next up, we have Sympathetic Brick we featured before. This is the Burning Portal, again for the perspective meters category. There's a lot of detail. We have a forced perspective at the back outside of the window, and also some very nice color popping here and there. Next one, we have Wumi World with Tobu. This is for Tale of the Meadow category. This is very cool. This is a sort of bunny fighter with a carrot instead of a sword, and the part usage here is amazing with that sort of cape flowing at the back, and then we have all these new leaf pieces that he also used for the inside of the ears of the bunny. Very cool. Next up, we have this for the collaborative category from Cookie Bricks and the wife. This is Fight of Frost and Flame. Very cool. So we have this sort of two, a witch and a wizard, something like that. Very interesting character building. There's a lot of very cool part usage. You can see at the skirt of that wizard on the left. It's very cool, and I love the details of the dress on the right side, as well as the detail on the face of the character. Very cool. Next up, we have 5 bricks. Gas. This is the Shepherd for the capturing character category. Smaller build like I like, and very well detailed. The landscape is just perfect, and we will have more about this build later on in the video. Now, this is for the digital category. We were talking about digital build earlier. This is by Thomas Hebert. Amazing build. I don't know how long this would take to do digitally. Of course, this is an amount of parts that would be insane to think in a physical build, but it looks really good. Of course, it goes and participate on the digital category, not in the bricks category, let's call it like that. Last one from Brixcalibur, we have Michel Lana builds. Queen Amelia. This is some very cool creature for the Tales for the Meadow. Part usage again here, amazing, very cool. We have this mushroom on the side. We have a wheel piece. We have a barrel. We have, I think, shield pieces around it. Those are the kind of base for the latest botanicals. And then we have those dark green leaves, details, and big slopes for the skirt of the creature. Very cool. There's a lot more builds for Brixcalibur. Go on the Discord channel and you can check out over 250 creations. Now, the Iron Forge is at the second stage. You can see this is the top 20. I managed to go through. I'm there in the top bracket, the Azure one on the top left. In the second round, I already submitted 4 builds. So the seed part is minifigurettes. The first one was a low effort one, but pretty cool. So I have peas, chickpeas, and corn in this salad, all made with minifigurettes. I have this chimpanzee with bad habits, where I use the minifigurette for the closed mouth, for the open mouth, for the glasses, and for the trunk of the palm tree at the back. I have the swimmer, so all this dividing line is made with all minifigure heads. This is another low effort build, but I think it looks pretty good. And this is my favorite one, micro scale. You know, I love to build micro scale. So here I have minifigure heads for the tractor, for the water tank, for the silo, and for the hay bales on the right side. Of course, there are some amazing creations. This one by Dominique, the Iron Frog, very, very good part usage. By the way, is in my bracket, and I'm assuming he's gonna go through in the top 8 by winning my bracket. He has a lot of very interesting builds. FS Leonard, we mentioned last week, is going on again strong. Is one of the favorites for this year. He's using a minifigure head here for the eyes of this character that is shocked looking at the screen. And he also built a corn. That is something that we saw in previous round of the Iron Builders. I was thinking about doing this, but I don't have enough of those pieces, and I don't have also those nice leaves at the bottom. Beta Brick used the minifigure in yellow for honeycomb. Very, very well done. And also you can see the back side of the bees as well. We have a very cool build by Bricks. This is a little traffic light, very, very well done, and you can spot the parts usage of the Darth Vader kind of neck piece on top of the minifigurettes. Then we have Lego Nerd Photos. These are a couple of builds that I skipped from the previous round, so you can see the part usage. This is the Mudguard, so this is the Deep Sea Dentist, very, very cool, and the Cat Fisherman, also very, very cool use of the mudguard there for that sort of mouth of this character. Then Bowsker, I'm going to feature here 4 builds, 2 from the first round that are very, very cool. The Indiana Jones one is using actually the edge of the mudguard in the wall. Very, very cool part usage, and is going strong again in this round with 2 more amazing use of the minifigure head. I like in particular the Super Mario one, and is also probably one of the favorites to win the Forge this year. We also have Biggie, Loki, that these are 2 builds, I think, from the first round. So he has this sea life build, very colorful, with this creature coming out on the right side with the 2 mudguards there for the mouth, very cool. And I love this one with the mudguard used for the writing of Dune for the movie. Smaller build, but very, very well executed. We also have H here with this build that was for the mudguards in the first round, but one of my favorite builds from the second round is this one where you have the milk pouring down with all the white minifigure head that make it look like the milk is splashing down. Very, very cool, very organic. Now, my suggestion for Lego ideas this week, we have this one by an Italian builder, Sparacongiusta 015, is this Dolce Vita motorboat. I'm not too familiar with boats, speedboat and whatever, even though I come from the lake. But I think this could be a very good idea in a sort of Lego icons kind of theme, even though this is Lego ideas. We have a lot of vehicles, cars and motorbikes. Maybe it's time we should get some very cool motorboat. Next one is by Brick M. This is from a IP, from a TV series, which is Loki and Key. So this is the Key House. I don't know how much the series is popular, but if this series has enough popularity, this would be an amazing set, because it would have a lot of Easter eggs, functions, and little things that we can unlock like in the TV series. So these are 2 interesting builds that you can go and support on Lego Ideas. Now let's move on to YouTube. Let's start from the usual channels that I follow, which is One by One Brick. He has this world map that he built to describe the history and the lore behind this series of medieval build. We feature the second season of his medieval build, where he builds these massive big layouts that have a lot of story behind it, and this map will help to understand what happened before and what will happen in the future season on his channel. So you can follow along all the videos to see new things. Next up, again, we have Markov Forward. He attempted this time, instead of a 12-hour challenge, a 24-hour challenge, actually 24 hours plus, and the result is beautiful. He has this amazing castle for the wolf pack. Very, 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 very cool. I highly recommend you to go and check it out. The video is quite long, but it's definitely worth it. Also, we featured before the Italian artist Luca Petraglia, amazing architecture artist. So, of course, the video is in Italian, but there's English sub, so you can follow along. Also, this video is quite long, but it's very nice to see this coming together. This is a facade that is in Verona, which, by the way, is near my hometown, and is amazing, especially when you see the final result with the lights on. It's just a masterpiece. Then we have a few new channels that I discovered this week. We mentioned the first build of this video was by Fukutaku. He has a YouTube channel. I just subscribed. It's very, very cool. You can go and check it out. And he also have a video with some of the builds that is exhibiting at the Lego house in the Masterpiece Gallery. Well deserved, I would say. This is a small channel. Go and support it. It deserves a lot more than this. Next up, we have Kelton Davis, 9,000 subscriber. I just discovered this channel. He have these very good subway builds on this sort of shelf kind of city that is a bit floating there on the wall. And he did a very, very good work to integrate this subway underneath with a very interesting lighting as well. Next up, we have Firebricks. We mentioned just now in the Brickscalibur build. This is a sort of cinematic video, short 1 to 3 minutes, about the Shepard build. So you can go and see all the little details. He has 400 subscribers. Go and check it out. Some very interesting builds. On my channel, I submit a lot this week. I uploaded a lot. I have the 2 videos for the first 6 habitats that are always very popular. This is for the CRMF Series 27. So the thing that you read in the article on Brick Nerd last week, now you can see how they're built in my actual videos. And I also have a members-only video already uploaded with the behind-the-scene of my first round of the Iron Forge that I will then making a proper video this week, and then I will share also the behind the scene for the members for round 2. If you want to support the channel further, a couple of these that I recommend you on Amazon US. We talk about Creator 3-in-1 today, so you can get 20% off on this T-Rex, which have some very good green parts, dark green in particular. So also as a part spec, this could be quite interesting. And I recommend again the Wild Safari Animal, in particular with the big giraffe. Here there's some foliage, there's some 3 pieces, and there's a lot of tan and a lot of dark orange. Interesting parts here as well. Of course, if this is the first time on my channel watching this video and you like it, please consider to leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, share, talk about it, and go and check out previous episode to see a lot more amazing Lego creation. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next week. Ciao, ciao.